Welcome to another edition of Punk Rock NFL Draft. My name is Dirty D from Dirty T. Today we're talking tight ends. Now, this tight end draft class, it was billed as a one tight end class with a first round, no questions about it, tight end prospect, and then a lot of questions after that. Is that what this class is? Is Kenyon Sadiq really that guy? Is there no one else that really screams, starting tight end in the NFL? Or what does this class look like? That's what we're going to talk about today. This whole draft class it's weird. I would say it's not great. And a problem you run into with players all across the board is you've got players you like that were productive and have good tape, but don't have good, whether it's athleticism, historic outlier measurables, all sorts of stuff like that. And then you have extreme athletes that don't have good tape or they have major gaps in their game. Like there's not a lot of just surefire guys in this class, and there's a lot more question marks, and there's a lot more developmental type of guys. And this tight end class kind of fits in that, but there's a lot of guys that are more just big receivers in this class than there are real tight ends. Not as many good size, good blocking tight ends, a lot more move tight ends, a lot more big slots than guys that you want kind of playing on the line of scrimmage. And that made this class really interesting to evaluate. I've seen people's boards all over the place with this class. And I think there's a couple prospects because they either look like they can block or they can block a little bit or are willing to getting raised higher up people's boards. So let's just go through the top 10. I'll give a little bit, about the different players in the top 10. And as I said, there's not a lot of blocking 10s. So my number 10 guy, Will Kacmarek, the Ohio State tight end, he is moved up because he is a good block. He's going to be a blocking tight end in the NFL. There is a role on rosters for him. He's going to probably not get a lot of targets, but he's going to get a lot of work in the run game, especially. Got Riley Nowakowski coming in 9th out of Indiana. Joe Royer out of Cincinnati coming in 8th. I feel like not enough people talk about Joe Royer. He is a fantastic receiving tight end. Not in the way that you'd expect a lot of receiving tight ends to be, because he's not this insane athlete, this big long guy, but he just understands sitting in zone, finding the spots to get open. Reliable catcher, a really good receiving tight end. Wonder if he can add more to his blocking profile, because he is a little thick, but I don't know if he has the length to do that on the line of scrimmage. I got Sam Roush at number 7. Dallin Bentley at number 6, and Bentley graded really well. He's got some of that blocking ability, although I do want to see him get better at that, which you'd think at Utah he would be. But he can block a bit. More athletic than you expect. Great size. Can be that wide tight end. I got Michael Trigg at number 5, holding on to it at the moment. Max Clare, Ohio State at number 4. Really disappointing year for Max Clare, but he looks like a number 2 tight end in the NFL or a borderline 1. He can block. He can play on the line of scrimmage. He can offer you a little bit as a receiver. Not like a big-time receiving threat. Came into the year, a lot of people thought maybe he was a first-round player. Definitely not. I don't see that out of him, but I see an NFL player. Eli Raridon coming in at number 3 for me. Eli Stowers coming in at number 2. Holy shit, people talked about Kenyon Sadiq's combine performance, but wow, Eli Stowers put up insane numbers for a tight end. He's definitely more of a big receiver, but I think he is the best receiving tight end in the class by a lot. And then you got Kenyon Sadiq at number 1 because he can block. I think that separates him, plus the unreal athleticism. I don't have him as high as everyone else on the overall 32. I'll be doing that pretty soon. I have him a friend, like, hanging on by a thread to a first round grade just because of the type of athlete he is and what he can offer as a blocker, as a move blocker. Athletes like that tend to develop. I don't think he'll be a great receiver right away, but I do think you've got, as long as he wants to be, you've got a good NFL player in there. You just got to tap into that potential, that athleticism. You especially see that athleticism with balls in his hand, the ball in his hand. Yeah. But you can see him go up and make some amazing catches, just show amazing athleticism. And what he did, again, his RAS score is insane. He is a fantastic athlete for the position, and tight end is a position that athleticism translates over to success, I think, more than any other position. So, like, again, this class is really weird. I do really like and think that Eli Raridan has a lot to offer as a future starting tight end. He's still getting better at a lot of things. His blocking scores are lower than you want, but you see the one. I think you can add a little more weight on him too, and I think he can turn into a solid blocker. I think you can put another 10, 15 pounds even if you want to on his frame, but probably 5'10", because what you don't want to lose is how explosive he is at his size with his length as a downfield vertical threat, and that's where he really shines. He shows the ability to snap off routes, explode out of his break as well. I think you've got a mismatched tight end with this guy, with his size, with his length, with his height, and he can run after the catch pretty well too. The 66.7 contested catch rate is really good. I think it was one of the best numbers of any tight end I looked at least. I think this is a future star, and I think he's super underrated. He could be the most underrated guy, but I wanted to just highlight him as one of my favorites because I think this is a legit NFL tight end, starting tight end with really high upside to be even more than that. I have Riley Nowakowski, though, is my most underrated guy. And this dude just does the dirty work. Going to play fullback, too. It's going to be kind of a hybrid guy. You can put him in different spots. Brings you versatility. He's super tough, team-first guy. You got to just love the way the Indiana guys in general are wired and how they bought into, like, their high football character guys. I love what that program has been doing. I love what I can't think of their coach's name at the top of my head, but what he's doing and just getting high character, good football players over necessarily the best athletes. And Riley Nowakowski is one of those guys, but he was a better athlete than I think anyone expected. Once he checked that box to me, I didn't really understand why he still ranks so low, especially when you look at a 0% drop rate, as reliable hands as you're going to get. He's just a really solid football player. He blocks really well, too. It was one of the better blocking tight ends. I think he should go higher than anyone is having him go. I think he should be going in the 4th round. There's, concerns about the length, and again, he's probably going to play a lot of fullback, too. Probably not a number 1 tight end in the NFL, but this is a good football player, and I don't know why we're not talking about him more. I love the fact that he does the dirty work. He reminds me a lot of what's Cameron Hayward's little brother's name? Connor Hayward, or I think it's Connor Hayward. The Raiders just signed him. He's going to be our fullback and probably our number 3 tight end too. Use him on 3 tight end sets when we don't have a fullback back there, or maybe we use him on 3 tight end sets and we use JJ Pegues. That would be fun. But I think Riley Nowakowski is going to be that same guy. That's my pro comp for him. And that guy's carved out, like, not a spectacular career, but a good career in the NFL. So when we get to, like, the overhyped guys, I still think he can be an NFL player. I still think there's a role for him. And hey, maybe you hit and you're betting on the athleticism, the relative athleticism because of his size. But I don't see what everyone sees with Sam Roush at a Stanford. He's big, sure, that's great. You love it. The 4.7 at his size is good. I don't think that always translates the way people think it is, because you're like, wow, we ran 4.7 at 267 pounds. That's amazing athleticism. For 267 pounds, yes, it is. But that's not game-breaking athleticism. And he's billed as this blocking tight end, and I think he does good things. I think he's better as a blocker on tape than he graded. But the reason I don't think he grades so well is because he has a hard time kind of sustaining blocks because he has such short arms for the position, for his length, for his size. I think he struggles with that, and I think he's going to continue to struggle with that in the NFL level. I think he can offer you some as a blocker, though. And, I mean, he put up pretty decent stats this year as a receiver, but, like, the type of receiver he is, especially the 12.3% drop rate, that concerns me. The lack of length concerns me. I just didn't see, especially at the Senior Bowl, he didn't flash to me. He didn't look like a special tight end. I don't know. He didn't look like a starting tight. He looked like a number 2, number 3 tight end to me, but I think he's getting talked about more than that, and I have concerns about his ability to separate in the NFL. He didn't seem like a big separator to me. I just didn't see a lot of his receiving stuff translating to the NFL, and I also am worried about his blocking stuff because of the short arms. So he's become someone people talk a lot about as this, like, blocking tight end that has receiving potential. So I've seen people have him as their number 2 and even 3 tight end. That's just way too rich for me. I got like a 4th, 5th round grade on him. I'd probably take him closer to the 5th than the 4th. But that's the way I see him. I think he's being kind of pushed up way more than he should be. That's why he's kind of my most overrated guy. I also think I've heard people talk about how Oscar Delp is their underrated guy and he should go way higher. He should go in the 4th round. He has all the skills to be a receiver. He hasn't shown you he can do it, and that just scares me. Again, athleticism does track. I didn't look at his numbers. I think they were good, but I don't think they were elite athleticism numbers. And he's small. And I think he can give you some, again, blocking as like maybe like a move tight end that can block, help you out if you want an extra guy in the field, a big slot that you're not concerned about the blocking aspect, 3rd tight end, maybe put him at fullback type of thing for Oscar Delp. Sure, that's great. Borderline draftable player. How little he was used in the pass game, how little success, I just don't think he has the receiving skills. I just don't think he's a good receiver. And I'm not going to bank that he's going to become one in the NFL. So I do want to talk about, I call it like the X factor, the boomer bust, and like a polarizing player in this. I think the most polarizing player in this whole tight end class is Michael Trigg. And he's a really weird profile. He's older, and honestly, I do think a lot of things would point to him. I can't fucking talk. Would point to him being like a not good NFL player, a bust in the NFL. I do like the receiving grade, the blocking borderline non-existent. This is someone that's going to play more of that like move flex tight end, big slot tight end type of guy. I also didn't like that he did. It seemed like he struggled with the contested catch rate that more than I wanted him to at that size. And drop more passes than I wanted him to. The same concerns I have with Sam Roushi we just talked about, who the contested catch rate is even lower, and he's a big guy. You don't want to see that. Michael Trigg, he's got these long arms, big guy, lower than I'd want the contested catch rate to be. But when you watch the tape, I just think you see the movement of a NFL receiving tight end. That I get Isaiah Likely vibes. If you have an Isaiah Likely role in your offense, if you can use a guy like that, I think like the Ravens, even though they're going to a new offense, would be a great fit. I think if you have the right fit for Michael Trigg, to 34 and over 34-inch arms as a tight end, especially like under 6'4", that's insane. Think about that. Sam Roush is like 30.5-inch arms, and he's 6'6" to 67, and Michael Trigg at 6, almost 6'4", 240, has 34-inch arms. He's over like a 7-foot wingspan. That's insane. And I think like that and just the way it looks on tape, like the way he moves and how dynamic and how different he looked on tape between him and everyone else on the field. Now, I still have it more like a fourth round, like third, fourth round grade, maybe the end of the third round, top of the fourth round grade. I'd probably take him in the fourth as opposed to the third. But if you've got a role for that type of player, like I see a guy that can move really well. He can move with the ball in his hands. He can create separation. He can just get balls that are way, like his catch radius is insane. And that I value as like, I would take the bet on it if I have the right system for it. I wouldn't, if that's a guy that I don't have a spot for, like if I just don't have the type of offense or the team that basically big receiver flex guy that doesn't block well, unless I think I can get him to block, but I think you're betting on something that he hasn't shown you he can do. But I do think there's a place for Michael Trigg in the NFL. Hey, maybe we're talking about him in the fucking UFL in a couple of years. But I think there's a spot for him. I do like Michael Trigg. That's why I have him higher than most people do. That's going to be it for me. For me today, I'm going to be coming, again, dropping a few of these videos a day until the draft. I'm going to make sure I get my top 32 probably the day before day one. Then day one, you'll probably get my 33 to 100. But I'm going to get my top 32 in there. I think the next videos I'm going to do a first round mock draft. And I'm going to start doing my all punk rock team. Those are going to be guys that are just tough as nails. They are physical, high instincts, high character type of players. I like especially the tough, just glass eating type of football players. Those are the guys that are going to be on that list. I'm really excited. That's one of my favorite things to do in draft season. Please, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. Until next time, have a great fucking day.